All right. All right. Let's go through and just go through this list here. You like the images? You like that? I'm the image man. You see, I've got thousands upon thousands upon thousands of images. Most are annotated by me that I have saved, compiled over close to 20 years. And most of that is, of course, centered upon the professional shysters, the guys in the media that I've exposed, been exposing for the better part of 20 years. As I have stated before, you name the person, you name the financial genius in the media, I've exposed them long ago. So when it comes to exposing the grifters on YouTube, the scammers on YouTube, the fake gurus, it's pretty fucking easy. It's goddamn easy. Really fucking easy. Because you know what? It's gotten really easy for me to expose the guys at the top on CNBC, all the networks. It's really easy. You see, that's what happens when you do something really well for a long time. Anything, you focus on that. You get better at it. It becomes easier. And let me just go ahead and say something, by the way. Most of you don't even know how to invest. Most of you have no fucking idea how to invest. And you know why? You don't know the first thing about yourself, about how the investment process works. Let me explain. And I know all you think you know, but you don't. when somebody asks me, it's like, oh, well, and by the way, let me just go ahead and remind everyone, I don't discuss any of my world-class research or insights on YouTube. Now, if you listen closely, incidentally, you might hear some little tidbits of insight, most likely which you will have never heard before and you will never hear again. That's what you get when you're dealing with a world-class expert. Okay? But I'm not going to go through and discuss any research. Don't ask me anything about the market or the stocks or anything like that. Because legitimate professionals aren't on YouTube giving away their shit. Okay? Legitimate professionals aren't on YouTube. They're not. Now, you Gen Zers out there, you millennials think so. You think, well, because everything is free and they're democratizing everything. Hey, dummies, that whole democratizing is a scam. That's a scam to suck your ass in, to suck you in. Just like the whole sharing economy. Some of you may remember that little phrase 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It's the sharing economy. Okay, I feel good about it. Ride sharing, Airbnb, okay. But wait a second, dildo. Sharing means no fucking money. It means free. You got it, folks? You understand how you're being played by the establishment? Everybody's fooling you, kids. Oh, yeah, it's a new age. I've got the internet now. I can learn anything. I can do it. I can buy courses. I don't have to go to university. I can buy courses from Kevin, and I can become a great investor. No, it doesn't fucking work that way. Okay? They're sucking you kids in. In fact, I've got a video. I've got about 50 or 60 videos, by the way, on hold on the channel to be released when I decide. And I'm going to be releasing, I've got most of the videos from when I was on here exposing these frauds 2 years ago. I'm going to go through those videos. I've saved most of them. I'm going to go through them and censor the videos, and I'm going to repost them. Okay. I've already got 50. Most of them are not old. Some of them are. Okay. And it's amazing. You kids, one of the videos that I'm going to be posting actually is, I think it's from a stream this year. And the video is basically, it's titled how young people are getting deceived and swindled, something like that. How you guys, you're being fooled. You've been told, you all think that the internet's the greatest thing, and it removes everything, the barriers, and I have an equal chance. No, you fucking don't. Okay? You don't. The whole gimmick, the whole lie out there is to convince you people that you do. That the internet's great. The internet is the worst innovation in human history. That's fact. It's the worst innovation in human history. Well, you don't know. You're just an old guy. You can't embrace technology. Oh, really? Well, tell you what, I knew every single computer language in existence in the 80s. Every single computer language in the 80s I knew. So I probably know a little bit about technology. I was never a CS major. Okay? There's probably not a whole lot of people living today who can boast that, have that claim. Okay? Those of us who have been around before the internet and are here now and who are reasonably intelligent and are good at observing things will tell you the internet's been a disaster. It's a mind control, confirmation bias machine. And let me tell you kids right now, what you're not being told by anyone out there. No one guaranteed. None of the so-called truthers, the truth guys, the intellectual dark web, they're on your side. No, they're not. They're there to fuck you. Joe Rogan and his little crew of monkeys are there to fuck you. Okay? Elon Musk, AI is going to be bad, but I'm going to make sure it's not bad. No, you're not, Elon. You're a fucking scammer. You see, he pulls that shit all the time. Oh, well, this could be dangerous. Oh, well, good thing we got you there to do it. You'll do it right, won't you, Elon? No one's telling you the reality about AI. And the reality is it's the end. It's the final phase of essentially human existence. What do I mean by human existence? And by the way, I wasn't even going to talk about this stuff. This is just on the fly. But I'll move on after I close with this topic because it's very important. We got our expert here, Jeremy Grantham, the grumpy old man, he's a legendary investor. He's because the media says he is. Folks, the first thing and the easiest thing you can do, the first thing you must do if you want to be a successful investor, and the easiest thing to do, actually, it's quite easy. I'm telling you right now, if you don't do this, you will never be a successful investor. Okay, this is the first step, and it's probably about 50%. You're 50% there, if not more, for some people. It's quite simple. Ignore everything from all financial media. That's right. TV, internet, everything. Okay? If you ignore all content out there, you're halfway there to becoming a successful investor. If you don't, you're going to be taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. Trust me on this. Okay? But getting back to AI, why is it going to be such a disaster? Well, I said basically the end of human existence. Why? Well, what's a human? What separates humans from animals? Critical thinking, essentially, right? I mean, there's some other things you could say. You could say empathy, things like emotions like that, But you could also argue that certain cultures don't really exhibit too much empathy, by the way. I'm not going to get into that. That's not politically correct, and I could probably get in trouble by the geniuses at YouTube. But, overall, it's the ability for the human mind to think critically. And that was the turning point of the human existence back some, 3,000 or so years ago, when the ancient Greeks rose to dominance and the philosophers. This was the first time in history when humans were actually thinking critically. So they were no longer impulsive. You see, they didn't just do something. I'm hungry, I'm going to eat. They were thinking about things. Think about what's going on today. What's gone on over the past 25 years, since the internet basically, is of course the society's made everybody impulsive. I noticed this 25 years ago. I noticed this when the trend began of the little drugstores. They'd put something, or the little C-stores, gas stations, they'd put things at the counter by the register. Just typical dog shit you'd never buy. The vendor would rent that space to put their product there. Why? To take advantage of people who were impulsive. Right? That's just one little aspect of this impulsivity, getting people to become more impulsive. That drives consumerism. And of course, this has driven the obesity epidemic in the West, mainly America, followed by the UK. And of course, that's, as consumerism continues to spread throughout the world, you're going to see higher rates of obesity throughout the developing world as well. You're already seeing really worrisome rises in diabetes in places like India and other parts of Asia. Anyway, push that aside. AI. So what am I getting at? Well, what I'm trying to get at is that once humans stop thinking critically, and unfortunately, a large part of the population doesn't think critically, that's already a problem. But once we no longer have the ability or even realize that we're not in a position to think critically anymore, we're done as a human population. And that's exactly what AI is going to do, by the way, in case you didn't know that. How, you're asking? Let me explain. Getting back to this whole democratization bullshit. That's a bunch of bullshit. That's there to pull you in, the dumb money. Okay? You don't have a chance as an investor. No, sorry. The worst thing that was ever done in the financial markets was to start online trading, provide access to the markets to everybody. Of course, individuals, no, what are you talking about? I want to be in control of my own money. No, that's a whole other topic of discussion. I'm not going to get into that. That's been a disaster. Wall Street loves it because it's a slew of dumb money. And of course, that's where the media comes in, right? That's where the media comes in to make more dumb money. And Wall Street loves it. And so they pay a lot of money for those ads because they can pull in people once you've blown up your portfolio. But how AI is going to really end the human existence is, and not some stupid science fiction movie. I'm talking about people are no longer going to be thinking critically. You see, right now what's going on, people think, oh, I love the internet because it gives me the ability, I can do my research. No, you can't. No, you can't. You can't do research. You've never fucking done research. You don't know what it entails. Most people out there think, well, I'm going to do my research. Well, you should do your research. No, you don't. What research? What have you fucking studied in your life that had anything to do with research? Okay? You probably don't have much of a mind for research, but they're telling you that you do. You understand what I'm saying? They want to tell you, oh, the internet's there, you can do your research. How many people do you think, percentage-wise, really have the ability to sort through all the confirmation bias, the designed algorithms, right? All the bullshit to not get fooled? Not many people. Okay? Not many people. But you know what? There's a chance. You do have a chance. Depending upon maybe you're not so good at doing that, but maybe you happen to have a good level of understanding, real understanding, such that you're looking into it more. And because of your real level of understanding, you're able to decipher the bullshit. And you're able to search online and find things and kind of get more to the truth. Okay? The point is this. In the near future, there's no longer going to be any real searches. You got it? You're going to go, and this is going to start from the grade school. They're going to indoctrinate these kids. I mean, it won't be bad for you all. They're going to indoctrinate your children are going to grow up. When they want to find out something, they will have been programmed to go and ask some chat GPT or whatever. Instead of doing a search, it's going to be searched for you. So you're going to ask a question to something, and you're going to get some politically correct bullshit answer. Okay, you understand. And people are going to think it's real. The more primitive phase of that, if you can imagine, has been the installation of Wikipedia into the school systems. You see? As if it's like a legitimate source, a legitimate authority, and it's not. Of course, some people are fooled because some things on Wikipedia are legitimate. But when you get to anything that might be remotely controversial, forget it. It's locked. The topic is locked. You can predict right now what topics are going to be locked. When they're locked, they're basically saying, no, you don't get to edit this. It's not the world's encyclopedia anymore. It's our encyclopedia. Jimmy Wales and all his little editors, we get to decide what the truth is. You see? But now with AI, you're going to go and you're going to search for something, and it's going to give you the answer, and you're going to think, oh, wow, it sounds right. They have all the sources here. The problem is what sources are they going to use? They're going to use mainstream media sources. And not just mainstream media sources, truly establishment sources. So, give you an example. If you're going to ask about climate change, man-made climate change, they're going to give you sources from the media, and they're going to give you pro-climate change sources because that's the agenda, that's the narrative they want to push. Okay? Now, this is not to imply that alternative media is valid, because alternative media is complete horseshit. Okay? This is why it's going to be the end of human existence. People no longer are even going to have a chance to figure out what's going on. They're going to think, and they're going to be told. You're going to be told so much and convinced, oh, yeah, this is great. Look at this. Oh, my God, I got these answers. Oh, wow. And you're going to depend upon these AI search. It's not even a search. You're going to ask Mr. AI bot. Just like people, people have gotten dependent on calculators. But, of course, calculators are much different. You're talking about the truth there. You see? You're talking about the truth with calculators. The only problem with that, though, is that you're dependent on a calculator. Then you can't even do simple, third grade math anymore because you're so dependent on a calculator. AI is going to be much worse. You're going to become completely dependent on what some source that's been created by guys, in the shadows, and they're going to tell you this is the way it is. Okay? If you don't believe me, you can go ahead and start experimenting. I've already done it. It's complete horseshit. It's another control mechanism. And of course, no one's talking about this. You know why? It's big money. It's just like I started noticing, 15 years ago. I'm getting notified by all these corporations that I deal with to some degree or have dealt with to some degree. The management consulting firms, McKinsey and all this shit. Oh, it's about big data, big data, big data, big data, big data. They're promoting it's great. Yeah, big data. Yeah, well, big data, you know what big data is now, right? Hopefully by now you know what it is. They're telling you how great big data is on the corporate side. Yeah, it's great for the corporations. It's bad for you. It's your data that they're harnessing, that they're using to screw you, to sell ads to sell to criminals, to take your identity. And now the big data is taking another stage, another phase. You understand? Big data is going to the next level. It's going warp speed with AI. That's what it's about, folks. It's about taking your data and completely mind-fucking you. Why do you think they want to collect your data for AI? AI is no good without data. Elon Musk, the evil, money-worshipping parasite, we got all this data. Yeah, they're going to use that data against you. Okay? And it's sad because most people, the vast majority of people, don't even understand how the ads. I was warning about Facebook 15 years ago, 2 or 3 years before the IPO. Take a look on my site. You can search the Facebook pump and dump. Goldman Sachs and the Facebook pump and dump. Okay? And I predicted the pump and dump of Facebook. I predicted Goldman Sachs was driving up the valuation to sky-high levels for the purposes of dumping it. And that's exactly what happened. The shares fell by 40% within like a month, and I think 60% within 3 months. 60%. 40% within weeks. I nailed the fuck out of it. Okay? Let me just say something. I don't like to toot my horn, but it takes a pretty fucking unique, special person to do that, who can do that type of stuff. Maybe kind of like the same person who would predict the whole financial crisis in the details in advance in a book, in 2 books. Got it? What does all this mean? This means whatever I fucking say, I think I've earned the right to accept what I say until you prove otherwise. Don't sit there and say, oh, well, you got to prove it. Well, you got to prove it. No, I don't. I've proven who I am and my credibility throughout my life. You understand? Everyone's assessment, everyone's insights, everyone's opinion, everyone's judgment is not the same. Got it? I was warning about social media long ago, and even before Facebook was public. And, you might want to look into why, because MySpace was huge. MySpace, by the time Facebook went public, I think MySpace still had 500 million users. MySpace kind of disappeared overnight. No song and dance, no notice, kind of like how Occupy Wall Street disappeared. And if you haven't figured out why MySpace disappeared and Facebook took over, well, maybe you need to look into kind of, who runs everything. Okay. what companies do well and what companies don't do well, because some companies have greater access to capital than other companies. For instance, Goldman Sachs was all over Facebook. They were doing private fucking placements. You all don't even know this. I remember this. It was something weird going on. Anyway, you see what big data has done with Facebook, or I should say what Facebook has done with big data. I warned people. I said, look, they're going to have algorithms, computer algorithms that actually monitor every single thing that you do. They're going to monitor every single piece of data, what you're looking at, what color it is, your keystrokes, everything to put into algorithms to detect, to analyze and interpret your behavior, what you like, so on and so forth. These are targeted ads. You can't get any more targeted ads. One time I was talking about a while back how Coinbase and all these crypto exchanges were fucking printing money because they were just defrauding everybody. They were just basically making up trading volumes and making up bid and ask prices, and there was no oversight. So, somebody made the mistake of buying Coinbase. I think it's done okay since then, but I said, no, that doesn't mean you buy just because they're a criminal company. Don't think that, but anyway, AI is a whole new world of exploitation of your data. Okay? Folks, this is what it's all about. Don't fall for all this bullshit. Oh, hey, Mark, the lizard boy. Mark, I'm going to show you, we're going to have our, his little 3D and this dimension world. It's all about sucking you dry. Facebook is a free company. Remember that? Remember what free means? It means free to fuck you. Free to get fucked. Okay? The free business model is a total scam. You never win with it. In fact, you get screwed much more than if you pay for a service. That's what they're going to do with AI. Okay? That's what they're going to do with AI. You're not hearing about it. Why? Ask yourself why. All these groups out there, right? I mean, are they all this stupid? Right? How come you're not hearing about this? Folks, think about it. All these guys, the truthers, the pioneers, they want to expose everything. Folks, they're in the media. They're all blabbermouths that sell ads and that make money selling products. You got it? They're partners with the media. You understand? They're partners with the media. Once again, anyone who has a lot of exposure, it's not to benefit you. It's to fuck you. The people with large exposure have it for a reason, a damn good reason. You think it's to help you? Wow. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. I think it's a topic worthy of discussion more in the future. And for some of you people out there, I know some of you still don't believe me. You probably still listen to some of these hacks, these gatekeepers, right? Ask yourself why. Ask yourself a couple of questions, by the way. And once again, I've said this, and I guess I have to keep repeating it. The best thing you can do is the absolute best thing you can do is to familiarize yourself with my track record. Okay? Familiarize yourself with my track record, and not just with my research. I'm talking about me calling out, exposing all these fraudsters. I'm the only guy in the world, even to this day, that exposed the whole gold pumping scene more than 15 years ago, and I did it for many years. That whole fucking syndicate. This is why I know how all this shit works. All these movements work the same way. The dynamics are the same. Okay, cryptocurrency, fire movement, digital nomad, what have you. It's all the same. It's all the same bullshit. And so if you understand Because once again, folks, if you see, the problem is that and so many people fall into this trap. I fall into this trap. I fell into it before, never again. I thought people were legit. And then I realized it's all a fucking ruse. It's all a hoax. It's all about gaining your trust and making money from it. Okay? Even these we are change. This what's his name? Mike Lugowski or something, whatever. This guy fucking takes donations. He steals off his donations. In fact, you've got YouTube channels where they go to these places and show these impoverished kids, and I'm going to buy them a bicycle. Oh, you're so great. And the people send them money, and they keep the fucking money. I know for a fact. It's been going on for years. Okay? So, the best thing you can do is get familiar. And listen, folks, when you're a person like me that goes after all these fucking frauds and scam artists, okay, obviously you're not going to find anything said good about me. I've made a lot of enemies, okay? So what you do, you don't fall for the fake likes and the fake reviews and the fake all this shit. You use your fucking brain and you analyze for yourself. That's what you do. If you're relying on some fucking stranger out there to give you an assessment of something, you're going to lose at life. You're going to lose at life. Everything in life you're going to fail at. If you're going by something based upon a fucking review, oh, well, it's got good reviews. Oh, well, it's got a lot of likes. Are you 12 years old? Are you fucking 12? Really? Come on. Come on. And the reason why I say, of course, the best thing you can do is to familiarize yourself with my credibility, is then you'll understand. You'll say, well, gosh, this is a high yield guy here. I'm getting the truth here. I'm getting some good shit here. Okay? That's why you should do that. Once again, everyone's insights, everyone's viewpoints, everyone's judgment's not the same. You have low intellect, you've got the follower effect, and then you have agendas. Agendas are big. I mean, most people don't even think, wait a second, why is this guy talking about this topic? Is he qualified? I mean, Joe Rogan, complete airhead. Why would anyone listen to this guy and take the guy seriously? He's a comedian, by the way. You know that, right? Has anyone ever thought about that? I mean, okay, you can Elon Musk, he's not a dummy. He sure as hell isn't what people are saying, but this is part of the whole Elon Musk brand. Make him think like he's a genius. It's fucking ridiculous. But he's credible enough to have intelligent ideas. Okay, but then you ask, what about his agenda? You see? Then that's where everything breaks down. You see what I'm saying? That's when the whole thing breaks down, when you look at his agenda and you see what he's doing. I mean, Elon Musk is an obvious fucking scammer. And he makes it look like he's such a good guy. He's a good guy. Yeah. Okay. You see? So I want to tell you that the best thing you can do, and it's not, listen, folks, I'm not here selling anything. I'm here giving my time away for free. Okay? And, let me just go ahead and remind everyone. And once again, anyone who's promoting a trading system, stock trading, options trading, they're a scammer. They're a fraud. Fact, write it down. This is why, Coffee Boy, CoffeeZilla could have had me on there slamming the fuck out of the whole trading scene. But no, he didn't want to, because, well, apparently, and I found this out, I have the evidence. Well, I exposed the whole shebang. He doesn't like that. So think about that. He doesn't like my political views, and he's going to withhold someone who's going to expose the truth. Why? Because he wants to be popular, and he wants to make the money. He's a fraud. And what does he do? he interviews Patrick Boyle, a guy who, it doesn't seem like this guy can make a successful trade in his life. I mean, if his life depended on it, it doesn't look like it. I mean, you tell me. You look at the guy, do you think this guy can trade his way out of a fucking corner? I don't think so. Okay. And he wasn't a hedge fund manager when he got on YouTube. He was a former hedge fund manager. Big fucking difference. That's a huge difference. Right? Every single person who's promoting a trading system and telling you can make all this money, they're frauds. That's a fact. And I dare anybody, go to all these motherfuckers. Go to all of them. All of them. Ross Cameron, whatever, Tim Sykes, you name it. Go to every single, you tell them who the fuck I am, you tell them what the fuck I'm saying, and you ask them, do you want to go on a neutral platform live with this guy? They won't do it. They'll ignore you. They'll be shaking in their fucking boots when they find out who I am. I mean, simply for the fact that I'm former Wall Street, they'll be fucking scared without even knowing my status in the investment world, because they're used to dealing with fucking chumps. Okay? Go to any of these motherfuckers. You name it. Anybody. Okay? Now, trading, if you want to trade, I mean, trading has utility to some extent. Sometimes, knowing the techniques of trading, okay, well, there's no doubt about it. That's part of, to some degree, to a small degree, asset management, right? No doubt about it. That's completely different than someone pitching trading, short-term trading, as an approach to make money. People who are pitching short-term trading as just strictly short-term trading as an approach to make money are fucking scammers. That's a 1,000,000% fucking fact. Write it down. Have I emphasized it enough? Am I clear? I want you to tell everybody and their fucking mother this. Okay, remember, I'm the guy from Wall Street. I did a lot of trading on Wall Street, and I advised institutions on trading in certain cases. Okay? Now, when you're dealing with a big financial firm and big institutions for certain types of trades, that's completely different than promoting a fucking daily approach to trading for a retail investor. You got it? Completely fucking different. Okay? But I certainly wasn't doing, trading all the time. I was doing a lot of different things. And I'm just telling you, the whole trading thing is a complete scam. And this is the main problem. If people accepted that what I'm telling you, that people that promote trading, they're frauds, it's just not going to work. If they accepted that, the whole industry, trading guru industry, would collapse overnight. It would completely collapse. And guess what? CoffeeZilla, the fake guru guy, detective guy, the guy who promotes scammers, he had a chance to relay that message, and he didn't do it. Because Patrick Boyle didn't fucking come down with the hammer. You know why? Because Patrick Boyle was doing the same thing that CoffeeZilla was criticizing. Patrick Boyle was involved in a hedge fund that was essentially doing short-term trades, day trades. And Patrick Boyle failed at it, by the way. You understand what I'm saying? How fucking ironic can you get? Did Coffee Boy know that? No, he didn't, because he's an idiot. Okay? You all understand all that? Listen, first of all, Alyssa Jr., no comments, but all you have to do is go to one of the videos. This is a live stream. There's no description. Go to one of my other videos on the channel or the channel description, and you'll see everything. You'll see 2 links on archive.org. Those are chapters from my books that I predicted the financial crisis, okay? 2006, early 2007. That's the beginning, right? I mean, right there. My financial crisis track record right there positions me as easily one of the top 5 best analysts in the world. Easily. That alone, okay? You know, and part of the problem is that most people don't even understand. That's why I explain in videos about people that think that these guys, folks, your ideas about things have come from the media. You understand that, right? For most of you, your ideas about things have come from what you've been told. I'm a research analyst. I'm an independent thinker. I've always been. My source is me. Now, when it comes to the financial markets, right, the investment markets especially, you all have been told a lot of things. I mean, you're told that these guys in the media are experts. And you all know by now, it's like, wait a second, haven't you started to think to yourself, wait a second, why is it that I listen to these guys and I keep losing money? I keep making the wrong, right? Because you believe that they're experts. You haven't sat down and looked at their track record. That's what I've done to prove to people, okay? My point is that you're believing everything from the media. You believe these things. You're listening to the top guy from the 2008 financial crisis. Nobody knows more about it than me. Nobody. That's a fact. You can take that to the fucking bank. Okay? I was called before the Financial Crisis Inquiry Commission in Congress. And guess what? They screen you beforehand, before they have you talk to the Congress. Because once you're talking to Congress, if you don't know what that is, it was basically a fucking kangaroo court. Okay? A hearing, basically a hearing of financial experts that they wanted to ask about, to see if there was any way to predict it, this and that, why did it happen, so on and so forth. And of course, they had stooges there. They had guys that missed it, like Warren Buffett completely fucking missed the financial crisis. He lost $30 billion. So they had a bunch of idiots. It was basically a kangaroo court. In other words, they weren't really looking to get to the bottom of things. And then you had people that went there and said whatever they had to say to make sure that they would get promoted. In other words, this is a big opportunity to market yourself. I mean, you're there, you're like, oh my God, give this guy money. He's a genius. He's in front of the committee. Well, when they heard my answer, they did not want me to speak in front of Congress. You know why? Because that becomes a public record forever. And I told them why this happened. Okay? Why it happened. What did I say? I explained to them what should be obvious, how Wall Street works. It's a mafia. And the mafia doesn't go to jail. The mafia controls the regulators. The mafia controls the funds. They control it all. You got it? They don't want to hear that. You understand? I sacrificed massive publicity because I'm not going to fucking lie. I'm going to tell the truth. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. You all don't even know any of this stuff. Okay, you all don't know. So my point is that, so when people hear about the financial crisis, they'll be like, oh, but Michael Burry and Kyle Bass and John Paulson, well, they predicted it. No, they didn't. No, they fucking didn't. They made a bet and they hid that bet. You understand? They made a bet. They didn't tell anybody about their bet. After it panned out, they told everybody. You got it? Why didn't they come out in advance and say, hey, here's what I'm doing. I think we're going to have a collapse. I've already bet against this stuff. And here's my thesis. Here's my huge PhD-like thesis explaining why. I mean, you can't come out and think you made a prediction just because you said something or made a fucking bet that has 50% chance of winning, 50-50. Something this monumental, you got to come out with a huge explanation. Okay? Me, on the other hand, I came out in advance. and told the world in 2 books exactly what was going on and what I thought was going to happen. And those books, if they hadn't been banned, every single person in the world could have made a fucking fortune. Got it? That's why I argue I'm the only person that predicted the financial crisis, truly predicted it. Now, take a look at some of the people. Eventually I'm going to do a write-up on this, a video to show everything. It's a lot of work. Everyone and their mother now is claiming to have predicted the financial crisis. Look at the evidence. You understand why I did the videos on Meredith Whitney now? I showed the evidence, supposedly, where she claims that she predicted the financial crisis. It's a complete joke, complete nonsense. In fact, as you recall, all she did was come out with a research report in, I think, October 2007 on Citigroup, and said, "Oh, they need to go through a cash raise. They don't have enough cash. They're going to need to either sell some equity or sell some assets, or else the dividend is at risk." That's it. Did she downgrade the stock to sell? She didn't even do that. It fucking didn't do that. I think it was like a hold or underperform. You understand? That's not predicting the financial crisis, folks. Now, if you don't believe me on that, if you don't believe that that's exactly what she was attributed to for predicting the financial crisis, look it up. I've got the research report, and you can find it online. The financial crisis was very involved. And you'll get an idea about that by reading the chapters that I posted online on archive.org. I talked about everything. The only person that explained in the book before everything what mortgage-backed securities were and all the ABC different variety, the alphabet soup of derivatives and how that was linked to the real estate market, right? How the credit rating agencies were just rubber stamping everything, all that shit. Okay, but I'm banned. You understand? I'm banned. Why? Folks, this is the thing. You guys just don't get it. The ad-based content model is a scam. People think, oh well, I can just go on Google and search. Folks, all search algorithms, every single search you do, the results are based upon optimizing the advertising. By the way, it's another thing. Seeking Alpha, the boiler room based out of Israel, they were discriminating against me. They were kind of shadow banning me a little bit back during the financial crisis period. And they were instead promoting their buddies, and they were discriminating against me. That's why I stopped fucking writing on there. I saw what was going on. I was pissed off. Folks, I was providing my shit for free. You know how many years I was working for free? That's why I say, fuck everybody. Fuck everybody. I'm done. People like me get fucking punished. The scammers get rewarded. I sacrificed years of my fucking life to help people, and then I got fucking nothing from it. Nothing. What happens instead? The scammers are the heroes, and I'm the bad guy. I started my research firm because I was getting fucking banned. Why? They don't want the full truth. Okay? They were promoting a bunch of shills, their buddies. I couldn't speak my mind. That's when I started that's why I started my research firm. I launched it. I began launching it in 2009. Okay? I wasn't planning on doing any of this stuff. Not at all. Take a look at the extended version of America's Financial Apocalypse is really the only version you should read if you really want the full deal. The condensed version is for dummies. It doesn't give you the meat and potatoes. If you look at the original version, 2006, show me anywhere where you hear me mentioning one mention of my company's name or anything. All these books now, they're all marketing horseshit. It's all marketing horseshit. Okay? Folks, I've lived through this shit. I've lived through this stuff. I know this whole deal better than anybody. I sat there and watched scam artists, broken clocks, con artists, idiots being promoted in the media as experts, and I'm sitting here being banned. And in one case, one scenario, back around 2010, I think I showed the email. I've got the email. I still got a lot of emails from back then. Robin Blumenthal. I still remember her name. Robin Blumenthal. Senior editor at Barron's. Contact her. Contact the bitch. Ask her about it. She got my book. She asked for it. I was on the phone with her. It's about 2010. I'm like, this is after, and guess what? I follow up with her. Oh, have you read the book? And I gave her a media kit before that. She had a chance. Oh, I haven't had time. Oh, okay, you haven't had time. You know why? Because during the phone call, and I knew exactly what she was doing. I'm not going to fucking back down. Folks, I'm a man of fucking honor. Okay? I thought that was normal. I'm finding out now it's not normal. It's fucking abnormal these days. That's part of the problem with capitalism. We have a crisis in capitalism. But you know why? Because she was talking to me on the phone, kind of trying to vet me, wondering. She asked me what I thought about Israel. Do I support Israel? I kid you not. I kid you not. You see, you understand what the media does now? They want to make sure that you're on their side, right? Or they're not going to put you in the media. I'm not joking. I swear to God. This is what happened. I said, no, I don't support Israel. Why would I support Israel? What's Israel do for us? I don't support Israel. Israel, we have no business dealing with Israel. They could do their own thing. Okay? See, they want to make sure you understand. Even though this has nothing to do with, this is financial topics. This is investment topics. I'm not joking, by the way. I'm serious. This is a true story. I learned how the media was a long time ago, folks. Okay? You're hearing stuff that no one else has ever heard in the world. Okay? You all don't even know. I've told this story once or twice on ScamTube. I was also interrogated by the FDA terrorist division. Basically the banking system tried to intimidate me. After I contacted the Securities and Exchange Commission in 2009 with a formal complaint that Washington Mutual was not insolvent. They were seized illegally. Okay? You can find the complaint online still. A quick complaint that I sent to them. They were seized. In fact, and I even put this in the complaint. I spoke to a guy. Folks, it's been a long time and I haven't thought about it. But just to give you an idea how close this stuff was to me, I was living this in my fucking blood. I still remember the name of the journalist from the Associated Press who I spoke to. His name was Michael Liedtke. Okay? And he specifically told me, when I talked to him on the phone, he told me that he was called that day, early in the day that Washington Mutual was seized. He was called by an executive, and they told him they were going to get seized for political reasons. And they were seized several hours later. I kid you not. But I mean, that wasn't my evidence. That was just kind of an extra piece of information that I put in that complaint. these things that happen, I'm not, some conspiracy nutcase, right? They're not planned. But what does often happen is, when there's opportunities for things to happen, the powers that be will seize those opportunities. And that's exactly what happened during the financial crisis with JP Morgan. Okay. So what happened during that period, by the way, was that, so after the financial crisis, well, during the financial crisis, I guess at some point, most of you probably don't know this. In fact, there's probably, I don't know if anybody knows it here, but what happened was there was someone got pissed off when Washington Mutual. There's a lot of people that knew there was something that didn't make sense with. I mean, I knew what happened. It wasn't the OTS. They're supposed to be in charge of the thrifts, savings and thrifts, which is what Washington Mutual was, but they really weren't. I knew it's kind of like the SEC and the CFTC, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission. The CFTC doesn't really have any fucking power. Okay, it's the SEC basically runs the show, including with the commodities and futures. The CFTC is kind of like a figurehead. So I knew the FDIC was the same situation. The FDIC really runs the show, and I knew the FDIC really seized Washington Mutual. It wasn't the OTS. And I called in, and I spoke to people, and I was telling them, I know what's going on. What are you guys doing? I started asking some questions. And so what happened was, during that period, apparently, like somebody had mailed out some white powder to like several Federal Reserve offices or something, and maybe even to JP Morgan or something. You can look it up. And so they were pissed off. And so, the whole white powder thing was going on for a while back then. People think it's like botulinum toxin or something like that. Right? So during that period, you all probably don't remember, we had the war in Iraq, the fake war, right? The bullshit war based on lies. And after that, during that period, they passed a law where they could basically detain any American. Could be detained indefinitely. They could put you in fucking prison forever without ever charging you if they suspected that you were a domestic terrorist. Does anybody know this? You all remember this? And this is probably still the same today, to some degree anyway. They passed a law where they could detain anyone indefinitely without charging them. Can you imagine that? I mean, seriously, I'm not joking. So basically, the regulators told the FBI, the FDA Terrorist Division, I'm a person of interest to be questioned for the white powder mailings. I kid you not. I was interrogated. And me being, I was still kind of naive back then in terms of how things operate. I'm thinking, the officials finally found out about me. They found, now I can help them, expose all this fraud. Yeah, exactly. Right. Little did I realize that the feds don't care about you guys. They're there to protect the banks. Okay. If you write a large cold check at a bank or you defraud a bank somehow, guess what? The FBI is coming out after you. Not the sheriff, not the police, the FBI. When the banks defraud you, the FBI is not coming out to help you. Okay? That's how it works. In fact, I lectured this FBI agent in North Dallas. I lectured her and I told her this about there was some other issue. There was some other issue. I was providing a tip off from some guy that had scammed people, and because a lot of these people, these agents, they're fucking clueless. Believe it or not, they're naive. They don't understand what's going on. They just do their job. They do what they're told. They don't really understand the big picture. Believe it or not, it's hard to believe, but it's true. So basically, because of that situation, I didn't release that complaint, that formal complaint to the SEC. I didn't release it publicly for another year because, I was on the verge of being locked up for no reason. If people really knew what happened during the financial crisis, there would have been fucking anarchy. They still don't really know. They still don't really understand. And this is why Michael Lewis was selected. Of course, he's one of the boys, but he was selected as the guy to create the narrative of the financial crisis. You see, to make it look like these guys are celebrated. Oh, they're legends, right? They didn't come out. You see, there was no investigation for the financial crisis. There was no criminal investigation ever. Nobody was investigated for fraud that caused the financial crisis. Nobody. There wasn't even an investigation. Think about that. Think about that. The savings and loan crisis was a drop in the ocean compared to what we had, like a non-event. The savings and loan crisis was a huge, huge issue. Okay? Big time. But what we had in the financial crisis through the real estate issue there was so much bigger. Was a much, much bigger. Now, the savings and loan crisis, that resulted in 1,000 criminal indictments. 1,000 criminal indictments. You can look it up. Something at a much larger magnitude that's almost incomprehensible how much larger it was. Resulted in 0 criminal indictments. 0. Because it was not even in a formal investigation. Now you understand this kangaroo court, the FCIC, the Financial Crisis Inquiry Commission, why they wanted to make sure you understand what's going on. I mean, this story's never been told. But I'm not like telling you anything that's not already out there. I'm just stating facts. Right? Why didn't some reporter come out and tell the story that I just told you about no criminal indictments? And we had all these criminal indictments in the savings and loan crisis. What's going on? What about the FCIC? Okay. And they ended up, basically the whole thing was the media, well, Wall Street, they're drug addicts. That's why this happened, because they're druggies. So that changed the crime. It made it incompetence. It changed from to incompetence from having a criminal intent to defraud. You understand? That's why they did all this. You got it? I mean, what I'm telling here, I should have 1 million fucking live listeners. But, this is the YouTube audience, the dumbest fucking audience of any platform in the world. One more thing is very important. And I talked about this earlier. I didn't finish it. And let me just, before I close with that, let me just say one thing. For anyone out there who says, well, gosh, he just goes off on tangents. Hey, dummy. Hey, one-dimensional dildo. When you're talking about high-level things, there's a lot of things that are connected. And if you don't have the ability to comprehend how these things are connected and why it's important to the big picture, just fucking go to sleep. Okay? Don't even waste your time. Okay? What I was talking about early on, I mentioned that most of you don't have an idea how to invest. And I say that why? Because, for instance, someone want to ask me, oh, well, what do you think is going to happen this year in the market? Or something else. So right there, that tells me that you're oblivious. Why? Think about it for a second. If you're going to go to anybody, number one, you make sure that they're fucking credible. Okay, you ask me a question and I'm credible. Okay, you've got that checked off. Number two, if you're going to someone that's highly credible, then why would you just ask them something randomly? Like, you're asking me something today. Okay, if I give you an answer, I'm not going to be here tomorrow or next week for you to ask a question to. What if something happens? Or what if I change my mind? There's new events that have happened that have altered my view. That's what research is, isn't it? It's a continuous reassessment of new developments, of material events. That's why you have research, right? You have ongoing research. Things change. Okay? So this person that wants to ask me something, well, I'm not going to be around next week when something's happening. They need to find out, or next month. So what are they going to do? They're going to ask somebody else. You understand? My point is that you can't go to different sources. If you're doing that, think about what if you happen to, let's assume that you're able to find several really credible sources that are really good, which is not going to happen because I don't know several. It's not going to happen. And there's the sources out there available to you, forget it. It's not going to happen. Let's assume that anyway. Let's say that you found 5 sources that are really fucking amazing, top notch. And their hit miss ratio, their win rate is 80%, 85%, which is phenomenal. Okay? And you've got 5 of those sources. Okay? Which, once again, that's not going to happen. You're not going to find that ever. You might find one with me, but... So you're deciding, you're picking and choosing. You're the quarterback deciding which source you're going to listen to. Okay? That completely defeats the purpose because you don't know what the fuck's going on. And you're putting your own judgment into the mix, deciding which guy you're going to... Well, guess what? What if you happen to pick source one week or 1 month, and he's wrong? That 15% of the time that he's wrong, you pick it, he's wrong. And then the next time, you pick another guy, and he happens to be wrong. Even though he's got an 85% win rate, you happen to just, because your judgment sucks. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the best of all scenarios. That's the best of all scenarios that almost is never going to happen. Why? Because you're not going to find several people of that high caliber, guaranteed. And number 2, because what's your ability to even locate someone of high caliber? My point is this. This is the same thing with CNBC, the same thing with YouTube. People are always looking around, what's going to happen? And they're searching here, and they're asking this person and this person on this day. And it's like a fucking pinball machine. How are you ever going to be a successful investor if you're running around with like your head's cut off like a fucking chicken? Or you're like a pinball machine. You understand? You have to be involved in a process. If you want a quick fucking hit, go to the racetrack. Okay? So you're approaching investing like you're at the racetrack. It's a process. You see? It's a process. So you should never ask anybody what they think. Oh, what do you think about this? Are you involved in their process? See, the problem is that people on YouTube you all don't even know there's a process, because most of you, I can guarantee you, virtually nobody even understands what real research is. And certainly you have no idea. YouTube is just like the hit of the day. What's the hit of the day? What's the hit of the day? The stock of the day. Go to the fucking racetrack, okay? If you're going to go on YouTube looking for research, looking for quick hits, go to the horse track, okay? Your odds are better. Believe me, you're going to do better at the racetrack. Okay? Now, I know a lot of you listeners won't know what the fuck I'm talking about. You'll have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay? But that's the deal. I was just thinking about this earlier today. I never thought about it before, but, you can learn, I can learn from people, human behavior, what people are thinking. I never would have thought that people act that way, but actually it's normal. It's not being stupid. I could see myself doing that, although I didn't. I could see myself doing that in my early days, just because you're not thinking clearly about what you need to do, right, to be a successful investor. Most of it, folks, is in your head. Okay, most of it is understanding to have a clear mind and understanding exactly what you're doing. If you have a clear mind and you are consciously aware of what you're doing precisely, assuming you avoid all the trash, then you'll be in good shape. But most people don't have that. They're not aware of that. They can't do that. That's why I say you all just buy the S&P 500. I'm telling you right now. You're not going to beat the index. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. You won't beat the index in the long run. You will severely underperform the index. Okay? And once again, if people acknowledged, believed the reality that you cannot have a trading system that's successful, then this whole industry of trading gurus would collapse. But it's all based on false claims and bullshit. Okay? And that's where we have even these investment gurus, meet Kevin. As I mentioned before, he's doing the Lambo. He's showing you the Lambo. He's doing it a different way, right? He's doing it in a different way. Graham Stephan's got his little car in the background, right? I mean, how come no one's calling him out for that? Kevin does the Lambo routine differently, just like he's doing the whole trading guru thing differently. It's a different twist on the trading guru. You understand? That's what these YouTubers are doing. CoffeeZilla won't call him out. He's too stupid, first of all. And second of all, even though you can tell him he's not going to do it, he's in their circle jerk. You understand? They're all together on this. They're all buddies. They all email each other. You don't know that? You don't know that? So these guys, what they do is instead of coming out and say, okay, I'm going to show you my trading system, which some of these fuckers do this, right, still. But what most of these guys are doing, the Tom Nash, Meet Kevin, Felix, and all these other people, what they do instead is, they all have different renditions. Kevin is the most, he's got the Lambo there. Oh, I make all this money. Look at my money. Folks, anyone who goes out of their way to show you anything of money, material, they're a fraud. Write it down. No one does this. Nobody does. Only scam artists do this. They're trying to appeal to your greed. You understand this, right? It's the most obvious telltale sign, right? Grant Cardone, you understand. Let me ask you a question. Who do you know that does this that's not on YouTube or some social media? Credible people don't do this. It's a scam, and only dumb people fall for it. You understand that, right? If you're falling for the lifestyle scam, I say the lifestyle, people pitching the lifestyle, oh, look at my car, look at my money, look at the money, another paycheck, look at my bank account. You're a dummy. I'm sorry. You're fucking stupid. Only stupid people are going to fall for that. Okay? It's fact. Now, fortunately for these scammers, YouTube is the largest population of dumbasses in the world. That's why the scammers are all over YouTube. Okay. Aside from that, what they all do is basically, oh yeah, talk about this stock. They're doing the Jim Cramer thing where they're pitching this stock, talking about this stock today and this stock today. Do they follow up? They don't follow up on their stocks. Oh, maybe occasionally when they want to. Folks, that's not research. And you wonder, you're holding the bag when it emptied because Tom Nash didn't tell you when his stocks collapsed. They didn't talk about it. Meet Kevin didn't talk about it. They're just picking shit out randomly. Okay? It's the same shit Jim Cramer does. You're never going to win with that approach. Why don't they follow the same stocks consistently? Because they know that they're fucking losers. They know that they're scammers. They know that they can't. Okay? If you're not following an approach, honestly, take your money and donate it to an orphanage or some other worthy charity, because you're going to fucking lose it. Okay? Following an approach is very difficult. It's very time consuming, and you got to find top-notch providers, and they're not out there. Now, they're going to all tell you that they are, but they're not out there. I'm telling you. Okay? So even if you can find them, it takes a lot of work, and it takes good judgment on your part as well. And you got to deal with your emotions, da-da-da-da-da. It's a lot of shit. So this is why I say, folks, the solution is right there in front of your face. Buy the S&P 500, automatically send money to it every week or every month, and don't ever pay attention to the financial media, anything. Can you imagine how many years of your life you're going to recapture if you did that? Think about it. Okay? But you see, what gets people is they're naive, they're gullible, they don't question things, they believe these fucking fraudsters, they believe their claims. They're gullible and they're greedy. You're gullible and you're greedy. If you're gullible and you're greedy, you're going to get conned. Okay? You're going to get conned. Greed is the biggest ingredient. If you're not greedy, it's difficult to be conned in most cases.